Hey there! Looking for tips on acing a phone interview? Here's what you need to know. Today, I'll be explaining what a recruiter looks for during an initial phone screen, the best strategies for answering common questions, and 4 quick tips that are specific to passing screener calls. Stay tuned till the end of the video for a trick to anticipate what style of interview to expect. Trust me, it completely changes the way you should prepare. All right, let's get started. What is a recruiter looking for in an initial phone screen? Since phone screens are typically the first interviews for a role, the recruiter's goal is to quickly shorten the list of applicants, saving the hiring manager's time. Instead of feeling like you need to cover every aspect of your experience, ask yourself, am I showing that I'm worth a second interview with the hiring manager? The recruiter doesn't have time to go deep. They are simply trying to screen for the best leads. Specifically, the recruiter wants to confirm your basic info and examine your professionalism and personality. They aim to confirm and get more context on what's listed on your resume and to see if you have the communication skills to impress your next interviewer. Now, how should you handle questions? Let's examine 5 common ones and strategies for forming solid answers that don't waste the recruiter's limited time. The first common question is, tell me about yourself. Or, what are you doing now? Don't list daily responsibilities. Quickly mention your current role, company, and how long you've been with them before briefly explaining your 2-3 key achievements and impacts. Use numbers if possible. Number 2, why do you want to leave your current job? The interviewer doesn't really care why you're leaving. This is more of a test of your professionalism and how committed you'd be to the new company. Speak positively about your past employer and explain why you'd be excited for and committed to the new company. Number 3, when could you start a new job? This is a true logistic question, so answer directly and honestly. What are your salary expectations? Most recruiters are trained to push you for a number first. These days, they are often asking for a salary range. While you, of course, want to be polite, remember that the employer has the advantage here. They already know the budget that is allocated for this role. So, have a quick line ready to turn the question back to the employer, like, since I'm still exploring the specific responsibilities of this position, I haven't yet settled on what an appropriate compensation would be. What have you budgeted for the right candidate? Now, there's one final focus area that a recruiter will touch on, and that's number 5, details about the job description and company. The recruiter may ask you questions like, are you aware of the key duties of this position? Or are you familiar with what this company offers consumers? In any case, if you have done research on the job description and the company and can offer a few quick details on what you've learned, you'll come across as professional and prepared. Then, it's best to turn it back to the interviewer by saying something like, I'd like to hear more. This is key because the recruiter's real aim in asking this question is to inform you about the job and set you up for success in future interviews. Remember, if you get hired, they get paid. So, take notes on what they say. Pay particular attention to what they say the hiring manager is looking for and any other details about the job or team that you can refer back to for future interviews. They're literally telling you the keys to success. When it comes to ask questions, don't be afraid to use the recruiter as a resource for future interviews by asking them questions like, what would make a candidate stand out from the crowd? What hasn't been successful with the past interviewees? Is there a certain experience of mine that is particularly compelling for this role? How does this team measure success? All of this information will give you clues on how best to sell yourself in future interviews. Now that you know the overall structure of the phone screen and how to answer common questions, let's jump into 4 quick phone interview tips that you can play to your benefit. But first, if you're still watching, give us a quick like down below. Subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell. Tip 1. Use your home ground advantage by preparing notes. Unlike in-person and video interviews, you can easily refer to something in front of you during a phone interview. As with all interviews, keep your resume close by. However, a phone interview allows you to have some key notes pulled up. These could be important keywords from the job description or notable info about company. Or You could prepare your answers to questions you know that you'll be asked, like, tell me about yourself. Phone interviews are often the first time you're verbally selling yourself to the company. So it's often helpful to have your main points nearby, since you may still be figuring why you're the best candidate. Now, all this being said, it's easy to sound scripted when you're reading word for word. So, stay away from having full paragraphs in front of you. Instead, keep your notes to quick, crucial bullet points that you can use to keep you on track or make sure you don't miss anything. Tip 2. Convey enthusiasm. Now, while being on the phone comes with a set of advantages, it also comes with disadvantages. Normally, body language is a very important part of an interview. Even when we are quiet, we can communicate interest and focus in the conversation. In contrast, during a phone interview, the only way to convey enthusiasm is through your voice. So, what we say and how we say it is even more important. Another challenge is being in the comfort of your home. A comfortable, familiar environment often can actually lower our energy. To solve this, sit in a calm, quiet place that you have designated as your interview area. Ideally, this isn't a place where you sleep or spend your downtime. Having a designated space will help you eliminate distractions during the call and psychologically remind you this is an interview where you need to be on. Once settled into your interviewing space, remember to sit up straight, show active listening skills by confirming or clarifying the recruiter's message, and bring excitement to the call when you can. Tip 3. Keep it concise. Phone interviews are generally 20 minutes or less, and recruiters are often booked back to back. Remember, the purpose of this call is simply to confirm your stated experience, dig in further where needed, and provide information about the role at hand. So, while it's encouraged to provide more details and color in future interviews, make sure that you are direct, confident, and clear in your communication during a phone screen. A good rule of thumb is if the recruiter wants or needs more details, they'll ask for them. Tip 4. Tailor the information you share based on the job posting. Of course, in all interviews, you want to explain how your background aligns with what the employer is looking for in the right candidate for the job. But this is especially important in a phone screen since you have such a short time to demonstrate that you are a fit. Again, in other contexts, it's often useful to take the time to share your full professional story or elaborate on details. But with a phone interview, really focus on the preferred and required qualification sections of the job description and share only the experience that is most relevant. It's helpful to recall that a recruiter isn't just interested in learning about your experience. They are interested in seeing if you have the ability to make connections between your experience and the current role, which is key to succeeding in further rounds of hiring. Using words that match the job description to describe your qualifications shows that you know what you're doing. Now for our bonus tip. The exception to the standard format of a phone screen occurs when recruiters take a behavioral-based approach, asking questions that begin with, tell me about a time when, or give me an example of. Some recruiters specialize in this approach, and they may indicate so on their professional social media profile by listing behavioral interviewing on their skills. It doesn't hurt to check your recruiter's profile before your interview to see if you can guess what style of interview to expect. If you end up getting a recruiter with behavioral interview experience, they may choose to breeze through the initial information gathering questions and leap into questions that address your past behavior so that they can see how you may react in the future. This tends to be most common in communication or customer service heavy roles. To prepare for behavioral interviews, consider important moments in your career and be prepared to clearly communicate what happened, how you reacted, and the impact you made. However, there are many strategies to succeed in this interview style. So, if you're anticipating a behavioral interview, I recommend that you check out this guide to behavior-based interview questions right here. Now, let's quickly review the guidance I've offered on phone interviews. First, learn what recruiters want during a phone interview and how to answer common questions. Remember, use the recruiter as a resource for your success in future interviews. Second, Use your home ground advantage by preparing notes for easy reference while you're on the phone. Third, show enthusiasm. Consider that your volume, tone, energy, and pace contribute to a smooth flowing phone conversation. Avoid distractions and be direct, clear, and convincing. Fourth, keep it concise. Take short notes on information that has been stressed as extra important by the interviewer and ask questions that allow you to learn more about the key requirements of the role and the organization's structure and culture. Fifth, tailor what you mention to the job description. This is especially important due to the rapid pace of the call. Don't forget the bonus tip. If a recruiter indicates a behavioral focus on their professional social media profile, prepare for behavioral-based interview questions. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. For more interviewing tips, I recommend checking out our playlist here. Best of luck interviewing, and see you next time.